in order to raise your happiness and to raise your vibration and to raise your consciousness, first of all, we need to start with the present moment. To start right where you are, right here. And the first step is pausing, stopping all those actions, activities, anxieties, worries, or trying to avoid as well, trying to escape perhaps something. So first of all, we pause in the present moment, and then we look at this mirror and we accept. That is the step number 2. So first we slow down and we pause. And step number 2, we accept what is here. Accepting what is right now. Accepting these thoughts. Yes, these thoughts. Accepting these feelings. Yes, these feelings. Accepting your psychological state exactly as it is right now. Accepting your energetic sensations exactly as they are right now. And this is the isness of the now. So we pause, we stop, we accept, and then we see. And then we see what we feel. We see what is happening. And that is called awareness. So you become aware. You start to see. You start to feel. And the next step becomes to allow. Not to try to resist immediately, to block. It's to allow, to give a little bit of time, to allow how you feel, to allow these thoughts, to allow everything to be like this, and to give a little time. But there is a way of how to give a little bit of time. It is by feeling a little bit more space around. It's giving a little bit of space in your mind. It's giving a little bit of space, giving a little bit of space in for your emotions, not rushing anywhere. Yes, not rushing anywhere. Giving a little bit of time, giving a little bit of space. And then you will come in the right alignment. You will come into the right alignment. Into the right alignment with what is here. And this is how transformation happens. This is how you meet yourself in the present moment, and you meet yourself in the right alignment. And thus, now you can start to heal if it's necessary. You can start to calm down, whether mentally, psychologically, emotionally, energetically. You can start to transform your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, your energies. And that is how you can uplift yourself back into the peace, back into the happiness, back into the knowing that it's all good, and perhaps even to utilize this present moment as opportunity to even transcend deeper into yourself, into the higher consciousness, closer to the full now. So this is a whole process from walking in the corridor to noticing this mirror of the present moment and looking at this mirror, seeing yourself, developing awareness of yourself, coming into the right alignment with yourself. And that is how you can open the process of healing, harmonizing, balancing, and eventually, ultimately transcending. Transcending the river of the mind, transcending the heaviness of emotions, transcending the low psychological states, transcending any lower vibrations, and being free. And every moment, every present moment becomes an opportunity. You recognize it's an opportunity. And especially in the difficult times, the opportunity is even greater because you're pressured. When times are good, you don't look for much opportunity, when the times are good. Everything is fine and you just flow with that fineness. But when the times are difficult, this is where opportunity arises. And then from that chaos, you can create order, and you can even go beyond the order into the freedom. So let's do this all together. Let's come into this practice all together. And this is the invitation for everyone to come back to yourself, to come back to the present moment, to do what is necessary, needed to heal, recover, feel good again, and even move forward, to move into a higher vibration, into more happiness, more peace, more freedom, or any other desired state of consciousness. So when you're ready, you can just make yourself comfortable. You can sit down. Just make sure that your spine is more straight. It always helps to remain more balanced. And now let's take a few moments to slow down. To slow down, to feel your breath. To feel a little bit more space around your breath. to allow any thoughts, emotions, feelings, energies to accept any difficulties, any challenges, to accept anything what is here, even if something is heavy or difficult. And then to feel a little bit more space around your body, around your chest, around your head. To come back to this neutral peacefulness. And in this neutral peacefulness, to give a little bit of time to yourself, and in this neutral peacefulness, everything is okay. There is a bigger okayness. There is a bigger space, a bigger field, which takes care of you. It is this bigger peace which takes care of you. And you can gently and lovingly become aware gently, lovingly see to see this present moment in its totality, which is yourself, your experience, the current space, and awareness, gentle, loving awareness of this current experience. If there are any thoughts, you can slow down again. You can come back to your breath again, feeling more space again. We are not in a hurry. It is time to be with yourself, to give time to yourself, to see your present moment. And you are lovingly aware or lovingly conscious, lovingly here. And we can share this peace with everyone. We can share with this peace with the world. Humanity needs this peace right now. This peace is like the mother which can take care of the child. This peace is so deeper. It is like the ocean, as big and as deep as the ocean. And the problems are the waves on the surface. So we're taking some time to slow down into this underlying peace. Just like the silence is underlying any sound, so too this peace is underlying any mental, emotional, psychological, energetic state. This peace is natural. It is underlying all the noises, all the energies, all emotions and thoughts. allowing everything to settle into the underlying peace. And even if you throw a little stone in the pond, the water gets disturbed for a while, but then it settles down again into the underlying peace. And another thought may disturb the pond, but allow it to settle down again into this underlying peace. And no matter how many pebbles are thrown into the pond, after a while, the water settles down again into the underlying peace. when you're ready, you can slowly start returning, slowly coming back. The same way that silence is present all the time, the same way that space is present all the time, the same way peace is present all the time. And the noises are the pebbles in the ocean of silence. Objects are the pebbles in the ocean of space. And the mind itself, with all the thoughts, is also like the pebbles in the infinite peace. It is already well known in the science that in your waking brainwave, the thoughts are active. It is known in the science that in the alpha brainwave, everything is much more quiet and even creative. You know, that's the zone that artists come into. It's a creative state of mind. It can be visionary or dreamlike state of mind. In a delta brainwave, there is a sleep state where the dreams appear or visions, if it's meditative state. And as you go deeper into the brain waves, they become slower. So just like the pebbles disturb the water, the same way with the mind, that the mind settles down into the slower brain wave and becomes more and more still. And in this process of stillness, the mind also becomes more expanded. So it becomes more still and more expanded. And you can also go beyond your brainwave. Now that scientists have not figured out how you could possibly go beyond your brainwave. How can you escape your own brainwave? And that is called consciousness. It is the awareness transforming into consciousness. You see, your awareness becomes aware of those pebbles in the infinite peace. The untrained focus is the disturbance of the pebble. When your focus is untrained, it will be disturbed just like this water with a pebble. This is what the untrained focus does. But when the focus is trained, even if you throw in a pebble, you can simply watch the ripples and you don't have to follow these thoughts, disturbing thoughts. So the same way, whenever anything arises, it arises in consciousness, in your awareness. And we can verify this fact very easily and quickly. We can verify by asking a question, am I aware right now? And yes, you are. You are aware of your experience. And the untrained focus is following those pebbles to the various degrees of disturbances. Do you understand? Because the focus is untrained, the focus is scattered, the focus is placed in a sticky identification. This is why it's following disturbances. And of course, the media is brilliant at disturbing everybody. And as social media as well, and your mobile phone is brilliant at disturbing you. Every 5 minutes, a new text message, a new notification you have to check. The media is brilliant at disturbing you. It constantly wants your attention. It constantly wants you to glue to the notifications as if your life depends on them. Oh, my friend has posted a new photo right now. Check it out. And this is an unfortunate situation that the young generation have more and more scattered focus and more disturbed awareness. But this is not to be not to be feared, because there are a lot of older souls being born, and they quickly realize this, they quickly see it. And the older souls have already a higher capacity to recognize what's happening. So they will not fall into the disturbing patterns. So therefore, your happiness, your freedom depends on your focus. It depends on your brainwave activity. It depends on your ability to come into the deeper peace. And ultimately, to recognize that you are also aware of these thoughts, sensations, sensory inputs. You're aware of your five sensory experience. And if you're aware of your five sensory experience, then awareness somehow is real. But you can't keep it. You can't hold it with your five senses, because it is beyond five senses. Awareness is beyond five senses. How can you hold it with your five senses, with your hands or fingers or tongue or lips or ears or eyes? You can't hold awareness with any five senses or six senses or 108 senses. You can only relax into awareness and stop controlling and holding and trying. Stop controlling the now, stop controlling the weather. How much ability do you have to control the sun and the moon and the stars in the sky? Of course, humanity is advancing, but still it is so far away to be able to control the whole universe. That would be the ultimate ego. So that's not the way. And even eventually, if humanity would advance into the stage of being able to control the universe, they would eventually realize that they can't, because they are inside the universe, part of the universe, subject to the laws of the universe. So ultimately still have to surrender. So the same way, yes, you need to develop your focus and attention. And yes, you need to dive into the deeper brainwave, into a deeper consciousness, undisturbed, expanding, dropping, surrendering. And that is where you meet infinite peace, yes, space, yes, silence, yes. But then you meet awareness beyond these experiences. And then ultimately, this awareness becomes boundless. unbound. Boundless means unbound by any limitation, whether it's your focus or any kind of experiential limitation. But let me clarify that too, because it's not about becoming superhero and breaking the laws of physics. No, it's not about that. It is relaxing your awareness into boundless openness. The laws of physics will still apply and your belly will still feel hunger after a few hours. But let's call it the unconditional hunger. Let's call it the unconditional experience. That you're boundlessly open in this unconditional experience. Unconditional means not bounded, not attached, not trying to manipulate, control, or even change in a conditional way. So therefore, consciousness is beyond causality, beyond the cause and effect, beyond change. Yes, consciousness is changeless. Life is changing. The universe is changing. Consciousness, God, ultimate, absolute, is not changing. It's the source beyond change. Yet again, you can't wrap your mind around it, so better relax your mind. Relax your mind into this ultimate peace. And surrendering this need, surrendering the need. I need to know, I need to understand, I need to figure it out, I need to control, I can't rest because something is not right. I can't rest because there is injustice. I can't, I need, I can't, I need. You see the vicious cycle. That's how it keeps going. And it's called desire, which is a need, or resistance. I can't. And it keeps on going. It keeps on fueling itself in the endless cycles. But what you can do, and it's very important to realize what you can do, is to recognize how these mechanisms work. It's to develop awareness to see how your mind constantly demands your attention. And you constantly take care of it as a child. Your mind is a child. You are the parent. It's not way round. You are the parent. The mind is the child. The mind is hungry. The mind is crying. The mind is angry. Sometimes happy. But you are the parent of your mind. So it's easier to be said than done. I know that. And that is why we're here. And now we will open some time for questions. And you know that at New Humanity Foundation, New Humanity School, we put exactly our focus to develop these effective practices, transmissions, to explain how it works, so that your mind can grow, mature, relax, surrender, and be finally at peace in this boundless consciousness.
I have a question regarding the focus. Because you once told me to soften my focus. And now you mentioned some new aspects to the focus. And my question is, how can I integrate this quality of focus in my practice? Because I don't know how to deal with it properly.
So what is the challenge of your focus? Can you identify any challenges?
The challenge of my focus, it's sometimes out of control. It's jumping around.
Yes.
And it's giving me a lot of force and power to do things. But I know it is kind of a limitation in itself as well.
It is a tool. Your focus is a tool. Not that it's gonna disappear after enlightenment, but it's a tool. And you don't want to be subject to the tool.
Okay.
Yes. It's a tool, and it's a tool through which you direct your attention, and therefore you choose certain objects in preference to other objects, or depending on alertness or requirement. So you use it to engage with objects and spaces. And that's fine because it's natural. Everybody does that. But it is a tool, and how about you slow down, soften, relax, expand? Because your focus can be quite contracted, and it can be quite sticky. It can be very easily intermingled with objects. And that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to get stuck with objects. So why don't you slow down, relax, soften, expand, and disentangle from the objects.
Thank you.
Yes, very well. Okay. Yes, feel free to ask who is next.
Master Mindo, hi.
Hello, Ren.
Hello. Welcome back. It's good to feel you again. Yeah. So my question is, you know how there's like this allowing of thoughts and feelings to be there, and how do I like not go into the pitfall of like of some of the feelings that I have or thoughts, and at the same time maintain this focus, and at the same time allow these thoughts and emotions to be there without them taking me to a horrible place, you know?
Yes. That's a good question, yes. So your focus is like a tool. Your attention and focus is like a tool. And you can choose also what you want to focus on. But you also need to choose wisely. because it can easily go, as you said, it can easily go into some pitfall. You know, you start looking at certain emotions and energies and you see, oh, they're so dark, and you look more and say, so dark, you look more, and then you find yourself somewhere down. So sometimes emotions or feelings can be hypnotizing, yes. And they can drag you in. And that's where you need to like wake up. Oh no, I'm going in the wrong direction. You know, you wake up yourself, and no, you know, that's not where I want to go. So then you need to like neutralize that pull. You need to neutralize that pull so you can freshen up yourself, and or you can change your focus to something else, something beautiful. And I say, oh, okay, now it's all good.
Okay, so at the same time of like allowing these things to be there, but somehow like anchoring into something.
Yes, allowing, yes, but not lowering your vibration.
Yeah, okay.
That's
yeah,
important.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, if something is lowering your vibration, why would you allow it? You know, you don't need to go there. You wanna stay at least neutral and not to go lower. So, you know, allowing is so that you come in the right balance, in the right relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And the real purpose is to raise your vibration, is to transcend, to go beyond. But you don't want to get sucked into any difficult emotion. You don't want to get wet.
Yeah. Okay. That's clear. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Mindo.
Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, nice to see you. So my question is very related to rent. Because yeah, I feel like through practice, I've become obviously a little bit better at, being more present and aware and all that. However, there are some situations that kind of wash over me like a big tidal wave, and then I completely lose it. And I just can't even become aware enough to try to pull myself out of it. It's like this wave has just swept me off and I'm just gone.
Like
and I just go and then I make a mess of things because my mind starts telling me stories. I react, I try to fix things, I try to grasp onto some false sense of control. And yeah, it just gets worse. I make situations even worse, and I can't seem to stop myself.
Yeah, so first step, when the tsunami comes, when emotional tsunami comes, or mental tsunami, the first step is to try to stay out, to remove yourself from the situation. Yeah, you notice that now it's getting out of hand, out of control. Well, maybe that's exactly where you should stop and remove yourself from the situation. And it's better actually to stop or remove yourself than to continue being swept away. So that's number one. If it's not possible, you know, sometimes it just sweeps you away and you're done, you know, you're in it. If it's not possible to stop and remove yourself from the situation, if it sweeps you away, then you need to again slow down, because the only way to manage a situation, emotion, feeling, thought is to slow down. You know, if you keep on communicating with someone or arguing with someone, it's still not making anything better, So then you say, let's slow down, slow down, slow down. Let's slow down. Let's come back to the senses. Because sometimes the energy blows you away and you're out of your senses, isn't it? So you slow down, you come back to your senses, and you become centered again, and you become grounded again. And it still would be advisable then to remove yourself from the situation, to say, okay, maybe let's meet tomorrow and speak about this because I'm still not so well right now.
There's one main problem is that sometimes this argument is with myself.
So remove yourself from
most of the
yourself.
times when this is happening, it's completely in my bubble. It doesn't involve somebody else.
Yes.
So the situation is completely in my head and in my energy field, and
yeah. The inner weather, yes.
Yeah, like a complete tsunami inside me and my people.
Okay. So then again, slow down, slow down. We're not gonna reach the solution right now. How about we slow down a bit? How about we come back to a little bit more peaceful place inside, so that these two inner sides, come out of conflict? And the same way, it's still the same principle. You slow down, you neutralize it, you remove yourself from the inner conflict and leave it for a bit later when it's a bit more clearer. Because then it's not, the solutions will not come if the inner conflict is there. First of all, you need to neutralize the inner conflict. And then you come back to a peaceful space, and then you will see that from within you, the solution will arise. When you give a little bit of space, peace, rest, and again, not to fuel that need. I have to, it's a need. And if you fuel it, then you are faced with a conflict. So there's a certain desire, there's a certain need, or certain resistance. No, I cannot accept it. I cannot. And the other side, you should. And you boom, 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 keep on fighting inside you. So you need to neutralize it and then give it a little bit of space, a little bit of time, and then you will see that the answers will start coming.
So you're suggesting this neutralizing is like kind of a stepping back and looking at the angel and the devil having this.
We can say so, yes. Not fueling the devil and not fueling the angel either.
Okay.
Because the angel can be quite persistent or resistant or defensive.
It still wants to do something. That's the thing,
Yes, it wants to, but it can't. In that instant, it can't. And don't fuel it. Yes. When you don't give fuel to neither of each side of the conflict, well, then the conflict subsides. So you stop fueling it, yes, you neutralize it.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, very well. It is very important, very important. Many times you can be swept away, yes. Either externally, some circumstances, somebody can trigger you, or internal conflicts, yes, internal challenges, internal communications can be quite disturbing. Okay, we have time for one more question or so. Otherwise, we can also enjoy. Okay, okay. And there is another person as well after
Okay,
that.
then I give way.
Yes. Eugene, yes. Let's unmute. Yes, Eugene.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Master Mindo. Namaste.
Namaste.
I'm calling from Florida, sunny Florida.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. I have a question regarding this inner conflict. Would you please tell a little bit more about what is conflict with what? About mind and heart, or you have another terminology? I would say how to address this conflict within yourself.
Yes, the inner conflicts, there are many actually. There can be many. There can be the conflict with the heart and the mind, intuition and logic. It can be an inner conflict of injustice. It can be an inner conflict of righteousness. It can be an inner conflict of anger. And you even have, let's say, argument with your partner or your friend, and and then your partner or friend goes home, but you still keep on arguing inside you in your head. You still keep revisiting all these things that you said, all the things that you didn't say, all the things that you should have said, and it still continues in your head. So there are many different types of inner conflicts, and we can say they require inner resolutions, but inner resolutions are very challenging. And I wouldn't focus on inner resolutions, I would focus to neutralize the inner conflicts, and then to recognize these strategies of the inner conflicts. That anger creates an inner conflict, righteousness creates an inner conflict, injustice, and blame and so forth. These are all triggers for the inner conflict. And the step number one is to neutralize the inner conflicts. Step number two is to develop awareness of what triggers the inner conflicts. Then you start seeing, recognizing patterns, recognizing the mechanisms of the inner conflicts. And with awareness, with recognition of the patterns and mechanisms of the inner conflicts, you gain strength. You gain awareness and strength. And therefore, with awareness and with strength, then you can easily neutralize and easily resolve the inner conflicts. And eventually you can transcend to go beyond the resonance with these lower vibrational fields. So transcendence is not easy because it requires strength not to resonate anymore with anger, for example. Transcendence is not so easy because you need to stop resonating with anger, with injustice, with righteousness, with all of these other emotions, feelings, mental, psychological states. So it's a very good question that you're asking, and it's the whole multitude of emotions, feelings, mental, psychological, emotional states that create these inner conflicts, inner disturbances. And I will tell you one more thing, it's not about avoiding them. It's not about hiding from them. It's not about trying to stay in a peaceful corner and hoping nobody's gonna touch you. Yes, that doesn't work. It is developing awareness, becoming stronger, healing, and ultimately transcending. And that is a whole process. And this is where raising consciousness comes in. Raising consciousness, changing your vibration, changing your resonance.